let's move to our last part here, which is a panel discussion. So without further ado, I'll ask Erez back on our stage. Please choose a seat. Yeah, you love it. I can see that. Yes. So then, of course, with great pleasure, I want to ask Lisa Dauvermann from Meta here on stage. She has been with the company for, I believe, around 8 years, which in internet times is quite an experience, right? And she heads ad tech for EMEA, so she's definitely a wonderful resource. Thank you very much for joining us here. And last but not least, the chief magician here at Madgicx, co-founder Yahav, with a beer in hand, please. Well, let's get this started. So obviously, we're speaking about Meta, Facebook, Instagram Reels here today, right? So let's kick it off with a round of the biggest opportunity that most companies have here. Obviously, there's very different kinds of companies, but if you look at Reels and where the platforms are going to head in 2023, what's, of all the things that we have mentioned today, what's the biggest opportunity? And maybe Lisa, you can start.
Happy to. Nice to see everybody. Hopefully you learned a lot from the folks speaking earlier about Reels. Putting it closer to my mouth, okay. I think we talked a lot about the entertainment factor, and I think Danny actually visualized it well in one of his slides of saying we have an opportunity to talk differently to the audiences than we do within feed or stories, and we see as a platform that entertainment is just becoming more and more important to keep users engaged. And eventually, what's important for us as a platform is having meaningful interactions and keeping people there. And if we manage to do that with partners that help to bring in great content from advertisers, then we win. What is in for advertisers, I think, you reach audiences in a different way. And one of the things that I think we haven't talked much about, beside the conversion and the less cost on Reels at the moment, we see that you reach new audiences because through feed and stories you reach a certain type, and some of them you have been reaching for a while. But if you add Reels to the mix, because you speak different, because it's a different language, I think you reach a different type of audience.
Fantastic, thank you. So Yahav, what's your opinion?
All right. Yeah, at the end, like the way...
The opposite.
Usually I'm problematic, right? No.
You are. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end, like when I think about advertising and specifically performance marketing, it's really about closing the arbitrage gap between the products and getting them out there to the market. And the platforms like Facebook can do it really, really well. When a product is much more valuable to the market, the only thing it needs is to get this press of additional media. And I think that Reels, like if we look at the global trends now in media, in general, how people consume content, we discussed this already. Reels is like the ultimate format for that, and really understanding how it works. We talked about not making it boring. And I think the opportunity is actually about understanding how to make Reels work. So there's many ways of doing it, right? There's two types of opportunities. Let's say one would be reverse engineering what works, and that's most probably the best way for small businesses that have a lower budget and they can't really get to the higher levels of content. So for them, that's actually where Madgicx also helps a lot of companies with our new ads library product and Sparkle, and combining like one workflow to make it really easy for those brands to figure out what are the creatives that are working, what's trending, and just like launch a lot of creative fast with Flow resource. For bigger brands and just brands that want to take a different angle of the creators, I think it's really about understanding the format and really understanding how this format works. If you look at, for example, Mr. Beast and a lot of the newer content, like the really fastest content creators today, they're not boring. So if you guys know how to create content that is not boring, like looking at a video ad, just look at your ads and just watch it and then see like when do you get bored? The moment you get bored, that's the place to cut the ads, to change something. Just don't be boring. I think that's the biggest opportunity. And then from the media perspective and the arbitrage that I spoke about, that's exactly where you can bridge the gap, because the media price also depends on CPMs and other factors. And as you saw in the presentation, CPMs here are the lowest. So in terms of buying media, that's most probably the cheapest like opportunity at the moment. And so if you understand, and the total impact is kind of like how good your ad is and the content multiplied by the media efficiency of the media. So we gave you now, okay, that's the most efficient media. Now it's up to you guys and to us to help you how to make that content efficient. So when you multiply those things, you get incredible results. The other multiplier, obviously, is the budget you put into it. So, but it's like a machine, right? You want to make a really profitable machine first, and so the media is one of them, the content is the other one, and then you can just like scale it with budgets profitably for advertisers, for Meta, and also for the users that enjoy the entertainment. And I really like the way how Meta phrased it, that it's like a reward. So it's a positive way of looking at it. You entertain something and then you reward them with a call to action, you bridge the gap, they buy the product. So commerce is a positive thing, and this comes through entertainment. So that's kind of like my take.
Thank you, cool. Erez, what do you say?
Well, like I'm just talking in the presentation, I think the biggest opportunity today in Reels is that they are the most discoverable form of content. Oh, you have to turn it on. Ah. Okay, you learn something new every day, you know?
Let's create a reel about it. I'll send it to you, and then you save it for next time.
Sounds good.
All right, it's on now, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's on. So, as I said in my presentation, I think the biggest opportunity today in Reels is that it's the most discoverable form of content today on Meta. Now, as an advertiser, I'm seeing Meta doing really heavy lifting and really trying to push Reels forward. And as you know, I already know Meta for a year or two, and I know when they want to push something really hard, that's a really good opportunity for us advertisers. Because, like we've seen, Reels is everywhere. They have great CPMs. Organically, they get you the best possible organic reach. So it's the entire pack for us advertisers.
Let me say we don't just push, it's about the consumers that consume more. So
Okay.
I think the demand is so high.
The demand is high.
And it's increasing because I think video, and I think some of us mentioned it, that video is a new language.
For sure.
And how we can talk more about it. People are a bit bored by static feed content, and
For sure.
the demand of video is just rising dramatically. And I think Danny showed the increase of reels being watched. It's not just because we push it.
Of
we
course.
actually make sure that we don't push too much at the moment and kind of keep a balance on good content.
Sometimes you need help in pushing the advertisers towards what the consumers want. I think that's what.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, hey, we don't just push for
Yeah,
the
no.
sake of us pushing. It's because users actually want it.
Let me dive into here. Actually, can you hear Lisa? Is she loud enough for you guys to hear? Yeah. A bit louder.
Okay. I scream.
Okay. Can you do that for us?
Later. Wait for
Okay.
it.
All right. Can somebody get a drink for
Building up the
Lisa?
storyline.
In the next reel, watch the next
Get
reel.
your cameras ready, guys. Okay. A more serious question. So you just made clear that actually your job is more as a platform to listen to what consumers enjoy and do more of that. So this obviously also have to make business sense, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of roadmaps and where you want to push this internally, at least in 2023. So we've talked a lot. No, we've talked a lot about where it's at right now and where people have to jump on that opportunity. As much as you can, we would obviously be interested in learning where Meta wants to develop Reels in 2023 and maybe even beyond. Because obviously, if we invest the time and the energy into that, we would love to know what's on the horizon.
I think it's constantly developing, and what I tell you today is probably old tomorrow. So we're building it as we speak, and we're learning what's working. And our first point, and that's why I mentioned the consumers want video, is always the consumer first. What's working? What's the engagement? And that is both on ads as well as organic. We will always start with organic. We did that with stories, and I think there was a very, very limited ad load at the beginning, and we started to increase the ad load on stories. We go in with the same principles on Reels. We first want to make sure it's clear to users or they enjoy the format. We have the right algorithm, and I think we talked about as well how their algorithm is getting better. And I think, let's be very honest, in the beginning, TikTok had a much more successful rate of showing you your interests. I think we've really catched up, and we are on par to I might be biased, but I think we really caught up well. But this is the first piece, and then figuring out, okay, how do we bring clients, advertisers into this and help them create? We will do our part. Obviously, AI and generative AI is a hot topic everywhere right now, and we talked about what Sparkle can do, and saying like, hey, you bring in all the content that you have, we make easy reels out of this. I think this is what we are looking for, is from us, from a native perspective, okay, how can we make it already easier on our platform? But we will always go only to a certain point, and we need partners. And as Stacey mentioned, we have a set of business partners. Obviously, we are neutral, but we are sitting here because we're a huge fan of Madgicx and Sparkle and believe that this is the right way of pushing forward. So we always try to better figure out with our partners what works, what doesn't work, what are the best tools to use to make it work, and test and learn, adjust quickly. And I think this is what the roadmap is. So there will be more on making it easier to use Reels, making it better performant by what we learn every day on what's coming up.
Cool, thank you very much.
I know it's fluffy. I don't have an exact
No,
roadmap in my
it's
hand.
good. I think the importance here is really to understand like that this is something that Meta is focusing on, right? So it's worth it for everybody here to really pay attention, right, and invest their own resources.
I don't think Reels is going to go away next month, no.
All right. Cool.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Let's see what's next. But as mentioned before, Meta is pretty good at adapting, and pushing forward then very hard. Okay, cool. So Yahav, what's on the horizon then for Madgicx, right? You're obviously a great partner when it comes to running ads on Meta, right? I still know the platform from the very early days when it was mostly automations, right? You started off with really helpful but kind of easy to understand and implement automations. Now, obviously, you have transformed the platform, and you're like leading edge when it comes to really making ad performance easier, right? So I see a push towards the creative side with what we have learned today. Maybe you can share a little secret or two, and I don't know if you can. This is not a stage question, but something that everybody can expect from Madgicx this year, specifically for Reels, if you have something.
Yeah, like from the early beginning, like Madgicx was kind of grown from the, let's say, from the community, like specific, like big Facebook groups, Twitter, of the like top 1% performance marketers, at least the ones that are engaged and are sharing their, knowledge with other people. We really built towards that community, and we developed like advertising products in the spaces of ad automation, ad optimization, and ad management that helps performance marketers to make really the most out of their Facebook ad performance. And we felt like to basically, together with everything that we discussed on the trend and changes that are happening on Facebook and on the media in general, we feel that we really kind of like made a big stamp on being one of the leaders, if not again, I'm also biased, in ad optimization. So we feel like this is now the time for us to really double down on creative. So we started a long time ago, but now we're really developing a lot of creative optimization and intelligence technologies with the goal of not just having a lot of features and a lot of pages, but really focusing on single workflows. And in the creative sense, it's like, how can we constantly produce converting ads, starting from using your existing data, creative insights that we have today, then going into finding what could be your next best creative or creative concept, just like you saw today. Like potentially which concepts are you missing, which concepts you haven't tried yet, right? The same thing we're talking about the full funnel audiences, that you want to do all the funnel stages. So right now is like, are you doing all the creative concepts, all the creative types, all the creative formats, length, short videos, long videos, did you do this and that trend? That's where it's going, like micro things. And from there, basically helping smaller businesses reverse engineer kind of what works, giving them a low-cost solution, Sparkle, to produce ads at scale, based on the inspiration that we help them to find, and then launching the ads through Madgicx, and again, back then creative insights, and it goes back and forth. So this is like really one of the biggest workflow now in Madgicx that we're focusing on, besides the other two, which is building an autonomous ad optimization machine, just like ChatGPT is a text prompt. So we want to make AI ad optimization prompts where we really learn what are the inputs and outputs that drive performance and learn from those things, as well as building one dashboard, a centralized e-com and paid advertising operating system where every one of you guys, the marketers, wake up in the morning and you know how was your night tonight or how was yesterday, are you profitable today, by combining all channels together and also marrying all channels as well as Facebook data with your Shopify revenue and making sure you're profitable on a blended ROAS, on a blended MER approach, plus the ad attribution that we can directly attribute. So of course attribution is still a key area for us, but creative is the fastest growing and most invested in our front.
Cool, that's fascinating, because I think one of the big shifts that we've seen over the last couple of years, and especially like the last 2 years, I guess, is that organic content and ads content start to look pretty much the same, right? In many cases, stuff that works organically also works good as an ad, or at least the ads are very much inspired by organic content, right? So I want to dive into these two strategies for a bit, right? And let's maybe start with organic first. I know all of you here are interested in advertising, right? But I think if we understand organic a bit better, it also makes us better advertisers. So maybe let's start with the agency side of things, right? You work predominantly with ads, I guess, right? You don't really do organic content, but do you, as far as I know, but do you use organic content and transform it into ads? You talked a little bit about repurposing.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. You can definitely take organic content, and you should, by the way, you should analyze your organic content. You know, sometimes us advertisers think we're like, no, we're better than organic. We have money, but no, we're not so good. So not so better than organic. You should definitely analyze your organic posts and reels, see where you have high engagement rates, and later then take these materials and turn them into ads. Like I mentioned before, you can also recycle and edit clips from other existing materials. So a definite yes. If you see an organic post that works well, definitely use it. And why are we trying to make ads that look organic? Because that people are tired, a little bit tired from ads. They want organic content. They want 80% of the people prefer content that is not perfect. We are not perfect as humans, so we definitely want to make imperfect ads with who look like organic content.
I think it's a lot about the connection, right? So people just trust imperfect human beings a lot more than something that is too polished, and we did dive into that earlier today. Okay, Lisa, so one thing that I'm thinking about a lot lately is how to grow social channels, right? And so I was always baffled by the fact that on Instagram specifically, there is no official way to boosting your follower count with ads, right? Or maybe there is. Share with us what's the best strategy to grow your channels on Facebook and Instagram right now, and is Reels something, because it does expose you to a bigger audience, that should be the biggest strategy here, or are there other ways of doing that nowadays?
I think we don't have it because we don't believe that followership is the key to success. We believe ads are the key to success because you will never, from an organic perspective, manage to reach as many people as you will with ads, and you have a bias then towards those people that anyway already like you, and you as a business want to reach those people that don't know you yet. It goes back to the discoverability that you spoke about of, I want to drive acquisition or consideration. I want to do retention with those that like me already, but I actually want to do acquisition and get new buyers. If they follow me or not, obviously it will be nice that I follow you, but we see, and one of the things that was a huge shift I would say 7, 8, 9 years ago on Facebook was that we say likes didn't correlate with sales. So eventually and I hope the advertising side agrees with me, you want the sale and you don't want the like or the follower. And yes, you want to increase your audience, but I think you increase it by having this organic, engaging content and being authentic. Being authentic as a brand and being clear on who you are and are informative. And that's a positive thing about Reels. Compared to stories, it stays on your platform and it's like an image channel. So by increasing these Reels and having the explore function, the discoverability that we talked about, I think you have a chance to increase your followership.
All right.
But I would not say to just focus on it.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, quite frankly, from a business side, it does make a lot of sense for Meta to focus on the ads because this is where people spend money. This said, I personally believe that specifically for new formats, it will be very important, of course, for Meta to get people in and enjoy a lot of the organic stuff because this is how they stick around, right?
Absolutely. The percentage of ads right now is very low.
Yeah.
Still.
I mean, what I've seen, and this is not for Reels, right? But what I've seen with other ad creatives is that if a profile or an ad has a lot of engagement, then very often the CPMs actually drop, and it's good for your ads. So I assume there is some kind of correlation. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I'm always analyzing from a technical perspective. So if you look at like most probably the many things in the algorithm when it comes to organic and paid are pretty similar, because when you think about the auction, it really optimizes a big part of it is like the user experience and the user. So Facebook would reward you for good user experience on organic, but then if you can practice organic in terms of learning how to build content. And I think that's why also like in a way TikTok grew really fast because it was a place for people to grow really fast the followers, similar to what Facebook was in 2010, 12, like that people were actually making money from likes and so on, but it's not sustainable. Eventually also TikTok now is pushing a lot of monetization and then everything becomes the same. It's an open market. So the best strategy would be to learn how to do this content, practice it on organic, and be able to accelerate it with ads.
Let's keep the Reels in mind, but let's have a more open round here. So for everybody watching this, for 2023, what do you guys believe? And yes, Reels can be part of that, but what do you believe is like the biggest opportunity, something that everybody listening to this or watching this should definitely put their hands around and implement in their company? Let's start over there with Erez.
Yeah. AI, definitely. It's yeah.
Are you
stocks? Yeah, stocks are
this
rising
man is
high.
looking
Yeah,
for
right.
investors.
But
This man is looking for investors.
If you want good, definitely. This is the buzzword of the year, and you know, it started to be a buzzword only 6 months ago. Yeah, and it's completely changing the world. In like, I'm always talking to someone, and I'm telling him, there's no way this is going to happen. Like maybe 6 years from now, and then 2 weeks later, okay, it's already happened. So definitely AI is the fastest growing vertical, and it holds the greatest opportunity for advertisers. By the way, I know Meta will be releasing some AI tools for advertisers in the next month or two. Yeah, for text editing and for background editing. So I'm also looking forward to that.
So Lisa, what's the number one thing, and maybe you can also comment, if you can, about the AI tools?
Test and learn. I think there's a reason why we're here, why we're all talking about Reels, because we really believe that you have a huge chance right now, because it's lower cost, to jump on it and figure out what your strategy is on Reels. And ideally, it's not totally different to your brand image and who you are as a company, because I think the user, don't forget about it, will still see your feed ad and still see your story ad. So if you're totally off brand, you'll have an issue there as well. But I think test and learn and think about what fits to your brand, how you want to engage with users on the channel, and how you bring this into your performance campaign. As said, it could also be very, very much on the lower funnel. I think it's thinking about We talked yesterday actually about Christmas and how we believe that this will be the biggest peak probably on Reels and ads and how people are using it. Start early and thinking about, okay, how do you would integrate this into your marketing mix and how it fits into your performance channel. And yes, we are definitely releasing more AI. There are more AI tools right, left, and center. We've been working with AI tools for years. We've just not made it public before open AI came around and really, I think, broke the market to consumers on AI. But all of our tools are AI powered, so has been Madgicx. So I think they call it now AI marketer, but there's been some power of this before. So yes, we're gonna release more tools, but again, we're gonna go a certain mile. I think if you want to be successful on our platform, you test and learn, do it by yourself, or be a bit smarter maybe and do it quicker with the help of partners and look into the performance. And yeah, I think it's really about getting started, better done than perfect, and not waiting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Advertising budget.
Spend more, make more, right?
Yeah, frankly, like it's always the biggest opportunity, at least in media, is where the biggest arbitrage is. And right now, like when you think of Facebook as a platform and the number of people it can reach, and the data and everything, and now also figuring out the content out of it. We're in transition of like, I don't know if you noticed between the lines, but Facebook is now together with us we're figuring out how to make the Reels content right, because we see Q3 and specifically Q4 and the Q5, whoever knows. Anyway, as words really gonna explode in terms of like the media arbitrage, so and just consumption of the users. It's not that anyone is pushing it. That's where the user attention is, and if we don't figure out right now how to create it, it's just like you prepare for Christmas in advance. You need already now to master and figure out Reels and this content type. So that's the biggest media opportunity, and the other biggest opportunity is leveraging AI, and that's what like everyone agrees and knows, and that's exactly what Madgicx like is about. Like we're not trying to build like a better Facebook or something like that. We're really trying to build like a better performance marketer that is AI driven and is learning from all the available information of what's available in ad optimization and finding always the right answer. Like what should you do today in your account? On a daily basis, on a weekly basis, you open your account, you get suggestions that are crowdsourced from what we know that works in terms of strategies and tactics and creatives and like looking at your account from above and okay, what does this account miss right now? And if in the past it was more like sometimes audiences and bidding and budget optimization and stuff like that, while it's still there, the biggest opportunity is in creative. So that's why the AI marketer is also going to focus a lot on really activating all those things, all those arbitrage, even if it's like formats and concepts and things that will drive your ultimate performance. So we're just now telling you what it is here on a macro trend, and Madgicx, we want to do it on the micro of the micro, because here we're talking at high level, but at the end you guys need to do all this work, and there's a lot of micro work. And Stacy, for example, shared with you today and with us all the structures and what's available and how to categorize content and Reels. So it's really just taking that, applying it to your business and producing a lot of content and constantly testing and scaling what works. And that's where you find the arbitrage, and engaging content gets also an advantage and preferred formats where users' attention is. So really just close this arbitrage gap.
Thank you very much. That was great. Big round of applause for our panel here, please.